She was a woman of extraordinary faith. She said yes to God's calling before she could even see where it was going. But somewhere along the way she allowed favoritism for one son to grow so deep that it drove her to deceive her own husband in his final hours. And the consequences of that one decision followed her family for generations. This is the part of Rebekah's story most people never talk about. And it is one of the most important warnings in the Bible about what unchecked favoritism and fear can do to even the most faithful heart. If this kind of honest biblical teaching helps you, hit subscribe. Now let us get into it. The Bible is direct about it. Isaac loved Esau but Rebekah loved Jacob. That favoritism was not hidden. It was a settled pattern in the home. When Isaac was old and nearly blind and ready to give his blessing to Esau, Rebekah overheard the conversation. And instead of trusting God, who had already spoken over Jacob before he was born, she took matters into her own hands. She dressed Jacob in Esau's clothes, covered his hands with goatskin and sent him in to deceive his father. The plan worked, and it cost her everything. Lesson 1: Favoritism in a family always produces division. Genesis chapter 25 verse 28. The Bible states clearly that Isaac favored Esau and Rebekah favored Jacob. Two parents, two different sons, two divided loyalties, and that division created a rivalry between the brothers that lasted decades. When parents love differently, children feel it. When leaders treat people unequally, teams fracture. Favoritism is rarely as hidden as we think it is, and the damage it does underground before it surfaces is always greater than we anticipated. 2. Fear of losing what God already promised will drive you to control what only God can deliver. God had already told Rebekah before the boys were born that the older would serve the younger. Jacob was already the chosen one. The promise was already spoken. But when the moment of blessing arrived, Rebekah did not trust God to fulfill his own word. She took control. Fear of the wrong outcome drove her to deception even though God had already settled the outcome. When you truly trust God's promise, you do not need to manipulate the process. Guard your heart against the fear that says God needs your help to keep his word. 3. Deception always costs more than it gains. Jacob received the blessing, but Esau was so furious he planned to kill his brother. Rebekah had to send Jacob away for his own safety. She told him it would only be for a few days. He was gone for over 20 years. The Bible never records Rebekah and Jacob seeing each other again. She engineered a blessing for her favorite son and never saw him again because of it. What deception gains in the short term, it almost always surrenders in the long term. The cost is never what you calculated when you made the decision. 4. A faithful beginning does not protect you from an unfaithful moment. Rebekah was genuinely a woman of faith. But faith in the past does not automatically guard the heart in the present. Every season requires its own surrender. Guard your heart today. Subscribe for the next episode of Guard Your Heart.